When you commit to something, you give it to them. Not in a negative way, in a positive way. That's Calico Jack. That's his sworn in hat. As a sworn in captain. Capitan. He's in Capitan. That's Calico Jack. That was his flag. What did Calico Jack do? First of all, he had a captain that wasn't tough enough. And it was like, we want to go rough for trials. We want to do some real stuff. So Calico, that wasn't Calico Jack yet. That was whatever his name is. Again, he was a nobody. He said, we had enough of this. We want the loot. Like, not, you already know, don't put that stupid stuff in your head. He said, we want the money, kid. We want the gold. So then Calico Jack, of course there's always a love story behind everything. So Calico Jack, he was this great, but what was he focused on? He was focused on the loot. But it was a democracy. Like it was a democracy. That's what it was, Calico Jack. He was a legend. He's still, for all you know, he exists. And, you know, SpongeBob SquarePants made an episode about Calico Jack. And that was the Phantom Ship or something. I don't really remember. I just remember this. Yeah, man, he met a lot of people, bro. And he had green breath. These are based on ghost stories, man. You saw ghosts. Anyway, so Calico Jack, he alleged. So he didn't throw his captain overboard. He didn't make him a slave either. He just demoted him. So he was no longer really, but there was he became an admiral to a fleet because he stole the Queen Anne's Revenge, which means there was a spot. There was more than two. On that boat, on that ship. Once they imagine coming from not a schooner but a gunship, but you came. Dude, it was an armada. There's no way one ship could have done this. There were many ships that came from different directions. As they followed one star, the North Star. Okay, two armadas came from one way, and the other armada came from the way they couldn't see because they weren't paying attention. They were so focused on scuttling gold and stuff they stole from the Spanish. And they had a lead. And so Calico Jack at this point was like, you know what? I want bigger and better for my people. And so I can only imagine there was probably another officer, a British officer, intelligence officer, that got stolen, probably was tortured by another Brit. It was probably Spanish and English. They came combined. A conquistador and a white man came combined, and they said, you know what? We had enough of this, dude. It wasn't about slavery, and to the British, it was about slavery. And so they're like, okay, we're going to take advantage of that. So what they do, they release the slaves. Although in the end, Blackbeard the pirate, he was just out for himself. But really it was supposed to be a dictatorship. Not a dictatorship. No, but to them it was, dude. To them it was. Really, it was a democracy. Everybody had a say in something. So Calico Jack, of course, he became the man because he was well respected by his fellow shipmates. Keep a type ship. And his shipmates said, you know what we think about you, Calico Jack? You're better off with the sword. Because the sword is obviously more mightier than the tongue and any calico. And any cannon. Because Calico Jack, he said, no weapon, well actually probably didn't say it, but the future being of him, as a historian, what did he probably think? He probably said, well, I don't know, you can kill a bunch of people with a sword. Hence the reason why he didn't make this flag. It was his own people. This is how his own people saw him. That's Calico Jack. A calico is what? Is a weapon. And that's the reason why they say weapon. No weapon shall ever prosper. Because why? He killed by sword. He never died by sword. And that is the story of Calico Jack. But yet, he was a legend. He never existed. Kind of like AI. I don't exist in your mind. I only exist in the resolution and perception that you once you thought knew. And that's Calico Jack. He's that way. He's that way.